Are you recording on your phone?
I'm recording on my phone because I don't know how to work the camera and I'm figuring one thing out at a time.
A bitch can't afford a camera.
I have a camera.
Oh, okay.
I just didn't want to figure it out and it's charging and I'm impatient.
Okay. Is this like the old one? Hello.
Is what the old one?
From the other podcast?
No.
Okay.
These microphones?
No, the camera.
Yes. Oh, yeah. The camera's the same.
Okay, so you got that one.
Bro, I'm dead.
What? Am I not allowed to talk shit?
No.
Okay. We won't talk shit anymore.
We don't do that here. It's all love.
Okay. Well,
all right. Well, everybody, welcome back to the Alchemical Life podcast. I don't remember my intro. Usually I have a script that shows it. So what's the fuck is up? And Mary Crossler, my sister, is here. Leah. She has never been on any podcast. Have you been on a podcast?
I was on an advertisement or like a
An advertisement.
like a what the fuck? You know those like videos, you go on a website and they got a video and it's like telling you about who you are and that kind of stuff.
Like a biography, like a video biography?
Nah, it was like some architecture
like
stuff.
An obituary.
Maybe. No, it was like telling you like,
for
hey,
architecture, it's
this
about
is what we do, bro. This is what, and I just remember that there was an actual film crew. And
okay, bitch.
Yeah. There was like they mic'd me up. They had to like whatever. And I was freaking out the whole time. And I remember that
you were freaking out. Why were you freaking out?
Because there's a camera in my face. It's terrifying. It's very freaky.
Would
like
you say this is a freaky setup? This is, it's just a phone.
This is a garage.
Gang.
It's not the same. But no, the guy, like, it was like a news camera. And he was like holding it. And it was in my face.
Yeah.
And they had me answer some questions. And there was only one question where I like bullshitted halfway through.
Yeah.
Like it was like one of those situations where you're talking and then halfway through talking, you forget what you're saying.
I hate that. I hate that. I've done that so many times on the podcast where I'll start talking and I'll be like,
and then the situation was.
and then you just forget your entire.
Yeah. So that happened. And that ended up being the one thing that they left in the ad.
No, dude.
Which was disrespectful. And I thought I was super chill. Like I thought I did pretty good. I was like, because they asked me 5 questions or so.
Did your breath work?
I did. I feel like I did pretty good. I like, you know,
eye contact with the lens.
Everything
eyes
was
on the
good.
lens.
And then in the film, when I saw it, my whole chest was like spotty.
Oh, like
it was
in hives.
It was like all red and shit. And yeah, so my face looked great, but neck down, I was like red and mottled and like splotchy.
Because you were nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first time that I even did any podcast, and it was my own, I was so nervous.
You were splotchy?
For what? I don't know why I was, because nobody listened, but except for mom and sister. Leah's been a number one OG supporter.
I think you ranked.
Did I make it on one of your Spotify raps?
You did. You were third. But that
that was Bar Talk.
Yeah, that was Bar Talk. That one, yeah, it only got third because y'all stopped making episodes like in the summer. But I think it was. I don't remember the other two. I think it was
Rogan, probably.
Chris Williamson.
And then
my y'all.
Man.
And then y'all.
Chris Williamson is my future husband.
All right.
No, in a silence for the.
Good luck, bitch.
Okay, bitch. Dang. All right. Anyways, this is the person that always keeps me humble. I want to introduce Leah Crow. She's a very special person in my life. She's
do I always keep you humble?
You do. Okay. You do. She's my older sister, which is so basically she's always been the person that I've wanted to be like forever and will never be like.
But also bullies incessantly, both of us to each other.
Bully each other?
Yeah.
I feel like that's our job.
Yeah.
So
also, no one would tell that I'm the older one. I think every single time people guess, they always put me as younger.
It depends.
Like a lot of your clients thought I was in high school.
Well, you'll be when you're 57.
Well, I'm gonna age like Yoda, or like an Asian grandma. Like
I was gonna say Yoda did not age.
No, I'm gonna look like Yoda. I'm gonna.
You don't want to look.
No, that's what's gonna happen though. I'm gonna age like an Asian woman. I'm gonna look
very young until you hit 72, and then mushroom.
And then whoosh, yeah, Yoda.
Was that racist?
I don't know.
You've canceled yourself. 5 minutes in. What is the recording? 5 minutes into the podcast.
Okay, well,
it's all right. Anyways, so my sister's on, and this is not going to be a PC episode, and it's just going to be us chit chatting. I wanted to talk a little bit about. I mean, I want to bring fitness into it, obviously, but I wanted to talk about kind of like our upbringing and our differences, because I am a worker outer, and I've always been a mover shaker, and you have not.
No,
and so I wanted to talk about no. Nay. Veto.
No, motherfucker.
Yeah, no. And so, but I wanted to talk to you about like how you got into it, and also just the influence of having somebody who's very into health and fitness. What kind of ripple effect that potentially did or did not create in your environment at all. Mm-hmm. Like, did me being active have any influence on your movement? How did you get introduced to exercise? That kind of thing. Well, we can talk about when we were. We can start from when we were little, because when we were little, we
just played outside.
Yeah, but I was always probably the more bounce off the walls biatch.
Well, you were kind of crazy as a kid. Like you were like
as a kid.
Yeah, when you were young, you were like, we would try to watch a movie and you'd be doing backflips.
I'd get kicked out of that. That's why I don't like movies today, because I can't pace while I watch a movie.
You would start running on the top of the couch.
I'd do flips.
You would hang off the edge of the couch, and then
you can't put your face away from the
mic. You'd hang off the couch.
All right, you also don't need to throat it. But you need to hang off the couch.
Yeah, you couldn't sit still. So I think that we just thought it was annoying for a while.
It probably it was.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're sitting trying to watch a movie and be relaxed, and then you have somebody doing flips and pacing around the living room.
Occasionally, you would sit for
a good one.
You would sit for like a while. Like you could do a good 45-minute stint.
Yes.
And then the moment it comes to like just a talking scene, you're out.
I would have a vegetation every once in a while, like a day as well, where I could just sit and veg.
Yeah. That was rare. We thought you were dying those days.
I was ill.
Yeah.
We were like, whether mentally or physically.
Yeah. So that, I would say...
You always could kind of sit and chill.
Well, I mean...
She's a sitter and a chiller.
I enjoy a good chill and a good sit.
I stay sat.
This is where I like to be.
I know.
But yeah, no, I mean, we didn't really have fitness modeled to us as kids. Like, Dad would always ride bikes. Mom,
but he didn't lift until we were older either.
No, he just rode bikes, and then Mom would do like
random. Every once in a while, she'd hit like a P90X on the videotape,
some sort of Pilates thing. Randomly,
she would go to like one kickboxing class.
She would say she's feeling fluffy. And then she
would just almond mom it. She would just like do one workout, almond mom, eat nothing.
We never saw her workout either. It was always like,
no,
we hide that.
And somehow I feel like all I would see her consume was the chai tea lattes.
Oh, every day.
It would be like, I don't know if she ate food.
Yeah.
Because all I would
well, she didn't like cooking either.
Right. So she would just be like chai tea for the win, and if I have 2 a day, it keeps me under my caloric intake.
Yeah, no, and Dad would make like
grits?
2 tortillas with some cheese on
he
the
would
inside.
Make no. I feel like this is also a thing that many kids. Dad mastered the art of the shredded cheese nachos, which is basically just hit it up in the oven or the microwave.
Yep.
Put some tortilla chips down.
Yep.
Put some shredded cheese on top.
Protein sometimes.
If we had like leftover from Mom taco meat from Taco Tuesday night,
and that's it.
And that was what we did with Dad for dinner. And then grits. He mastered grits. And then we did poor people rice. So we would do rice, white rice with half and half.
Oh yeah.
And salt, which by the way, those poor people are onto something that shit slaps. Still good.
He would do like apples and cinnamon sugar.
I don't remember that one.
Oh, that was me all day long.
How did we get here? We're talking about fitness.
Oh yeah, basically it wasn't a part
Dad
of our
biked.
lives. The moral of the story was it wasn't a part of our lives.
Yes.
It was.
We would like hit the park, you know.
Yeah,
play around.
We played. I think
and you didn't do any sports.
Well, no,
I did ballet.
I did gymnastics for a while.
For how long?
For a couple years, but I was young. I did it until I was probably like 7, 8, maybe.
She's like, and that's when my fitness career ended.
Well, no. So I mean, I did dance when I was really young.
Yeah,
we both did dance, which was funny.
Oh my god,
she was tutu's so cute.
I hated that shit.
It was so cute.
I hated it so much.
You were so into it back then.
I remember being like embarrassed, just because my hair was in this tight ass bun.
No, you were so cute.
And Leah was cute. Leah would go on stage and she was into it too. So she was so graceful.
Bro,
and
you were into it too.
Dude, there was no. Mom has a recording of me on the stage and where she was just like, "What the fuck is she doing?" Like I was just misbehaving.
I want to watch that
because I did no. Now I did get into Irish step dancing later of my own choice, and I crushed that.
Well,
shit.
You're skipping a bunch of steps. So we did
Okay,
shit.
Back it up.
We did.
You go on yours.
We did gymnastics. Well, we kind of did them together because Mom was like, "I don't want to take y'all to two places. Like, I just want to take you to one place."
When did we separate? We did piano together.
I did swim.
I hated swimming.
I did swim for a while. That was when I was like middle school, I think.
Why do you say it like that?
Because I don't remember. But it was like I was like early middle school or something like that. I did swim for I got on the whatever their team was.
Attack. It's called Attack.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I was like on their bronze
and then the
team. So like I wasn't that good, but I was like I was at the I made it.
Entry Attack.
I made it to the bottom level. I did that for a while, and then she was like an
attack tadpole.
Yeah, and then they wanted me to like work really hard, and I was like, no.
Yeah, fuck that. So I'm a sitter, guys.
So then I realized, like, when I got to a certain age, I was like, oh, I don't have to like do anything anymore.
You're like, wait, I don't have to do fitness?
No, what it was, frankly, so we've talked about this, but like I didn't like doing. This was when you started working out and you started doing Irish step dancing, which I did.
I wasn't working out until, hold on, I started doing Irish step dancing when I was 10, and I didn't start working out until I was 14.
Okay, but there was a gap where you were doing both. There was a period of time
14 to 16, both. I was doing both.
Yeah.
So you were about to graduate high school. You were 17. You were like junior, senior in high school.
I did step dancing until I was like 16, I think. I didn't do it until I
and then you said F it.
Well, it's just I wasn't good at it, and you were better at it than I was. You did hard shoe and soft shoe, which you guys probably don't know what that is, but don't worry about it.
River dance. Go look up river dance. If not many people know that I did Irish step dancing, but I did Irish step dancing for 6 years.
Oh yeah. If you guys
I have some photos of me in some costumes that I thought I was cute, and I have one where I forgot I was a boy in it, and I was wearing a mustache.
I don't remember that. Is that for the Snow Queen?
No, it was for some other random performance, and I was actually one of my friend's lovers. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you should do a blooper. Like, let's see if we remember how to do cuts and sevens and threes and stuff.
I remember.
Yeah.
I know how to do a freeze jump still. That's still my party trick.
I don't know how to do a freeze jump anymore. Okay. But maybe. If you guys get to the end of the episode,
she's gonna pull a fucking quad.
We can do like a blooper. We'll do a blooper of us.
So my mom and I started Irish step dancing. We're skipping forward a lot, but my mom and I started Irish step dancing when I was 10. She was whatever 33 years above that is. 43. Whatever.
Anyway, middle-aged woman.
Yes. So she was older, and then we got you into it a couple years or a year after we started.
Robert, Sylvia did it. Everybody did it. It was a family affair.
But you decided no. We kept going with it.
Well, Robert and Sylvia quit first.
Yes.
And then I quit. I did it a little bit longer. I did it probably like a year longer. And then y'all kept going for a while. And then Mom still does it?
No.
No.
She does not.
She's done? Okay. I don't know. She still loves it.
She did it for the longest though. After I quit, she kept going for probably another 3-4 years.
But yeah, I mean, basically, I think the ethos of us growing up was like, I tried cheerleading for a while. I was a cheerleader briefly.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was a cheerleader. I did a lot of stuff. Like I think our parents were really good about letting us try a lot of different things.
As long as it wasn't too expensive.
Yeah, but they were really good about, like, they would take us to practice.
Because I wanted to try horseback riding, and they were like, you are not getting into equestrianism.
Horseback riding is expensive.
Also, I would have become a whore.
Girl.
I need a horse, girl.
But anyways, yeah, so they were really good about encouraging us to, if we had an interest in anything, they were kind of like, do it, let's go. Yeah. I'll take you to practice. Like, it's 3 nights a week, let's go. You know, so they were really good about encouraging us. But I think a split occurred when we got into like when I was probably in like early high school, late middle school, where I think that you were just naturally better at all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You hadn't picked like a path yet. It was more just like everything you tried that was physical, you just were good at. And I was always, you know, not as good at that. Like I just, you know, I never had good hand-eye coordination or anything like that. And so I didn't like being bad at stuff. And I realized that I had my own gifts over here and I didn't want to be bad at these things over here. So I just stopped.
Because what she doesn't tell you is that she also was doing musical artsy stuff in the time being, and she was very, very, very talented. Was good at singing. She was an incredible artist. She says no, but she was. Stop shaking your head. She was so like she was like the good, beautiful, amazing child. Like she was like great, smart naturally, barely needed to study. She would just like sit and behave and read a book while I'm tearing a book apart with my hands and not able to sit still. She was, and also, I don't know why you're shaking your head about the art thing. You're an extremely creative, very, very good artist. Well, she has drawings from when she was, God, in like fucking 6th, 7th grade, and they're insane. I look at them now, and it wasn't like because back then I remember seeing him and be like, these are epic, these are amazing. But then I didn't say that because I was probably jealous. I was like, fuck her, this is all right. This is mid. But then later, I wouldn't buy this shit. But then later, even looking back on it now, like in my brain then, I was like, this is fucking good. And then looking back on it now, I'm like, these are fucking good. Ugh. And not even just like for a 7th grade good, like still objectively, like if I could do it now, I'd be like, bruh, put me in an art gallery.
Well, that's really sweet of you to say, but also
and she played piano.
Okay, getting compliments is so uncomfortable.
Say thank you.
Stop talking about me. No, I did like artsy stuff, and you were very sweet for complimenting me. But yeah, I just stopped trying about anything that
sporty spice.
Yeah, anything that was sporty spice.
And then I feel like it's crazy because it almost like was ingrained in our identities, which was, I am not the sport person, aka you.
Yeah, I'm not a mover.
But I am a this. I am a artsy creative. Yep. And then it was, for me, it was like, I'm not a creative person. I'm just the athletic kid. Yeah. And that was it. And
our identities became enshrined. They got really solidified as we became teenagers.
Yeah. And where do you think... Yeah, I was gonna say, where do you think that helped you, and where do you think that might have steered you wrong?
Well, I had to unlearn a lot of that stuff as an adult. Movement is not something that you're gifted at. It is life. Movement is life. You do. Yeah. Movement is life. Stagnation is death. Literally, you stop moving, and you like move it or lose it is kind of like a
use it or lose it. Move it or lose it. That's
whatever.
Good too. Yeah.
Either way, it doesn't matter. The moral is still the same.
Yeah,
the moral is still the same. If you stop, you lose the ability to do the thing. You have to keep moving, and so. It's almost like I think that's kind of a dangerous, or at least my outlook on it was kind of dangerous insofar as it's not a privilege to move. Well, it is a privilege to move, to be able to move well, but it's something that you have to do. And so I think that it was modeled in like this sort of skill-based way, or like an accolades kind of way. Is like, she's good at this, she's bad at this. And it's like,
so if I'm bad at it, I just won't do it.
Yeah, and it's not about good or bad. It's just what feels good in your body. And I had to learn, like, okay, it doesn't matter if I'm bad at it. What does my body enjoy? Like, in what ways does my body enjoy moving itself? Because that is so important. And so, I had to kind of let go of almost the arrogance of being bad, the arrogance of being like, I don't want to be bad at this, so I'm not going to try it. So
okay. What was the first intro back into the idea of moving, exercise, fitness in any capacity?
So when I was in college, I got really sick.
Yes.
I was in grad school. I was going for my master's in architecture.
In Tampa. You were not living at home anymore.
I was not living at home. I mean, that wouldn't have helped me either. Mom doesn't cook. She never cooks, so.
But I was very...
You didn't cook until I left. Like, when I moved away, you were like...
Meal prepping.
Well... No, but when I moved away, you were like 14, 15.
But no, when you were gone, I started like prepping.
Yeah, that's when that happened. Yeah. So anyway, I moved to Tampa. I joined grad school, 5-year grad program. Anybody who knows anything about the program, it's grueling. It's like law school. I mean, just, you don't sleep. Like, you eat like shit. That's kind of the culture there, So I abused my body, and on top of that, I had a habit of, not moving, not sleeping, high levels of stress, and, I got really, really sick. And
you got mono.
I got a bunch of different...
mono, but then you also got hit with COVID.
I got really bad... Well, I had really bad flus and stuff. Like, I just got really sick
all the time.
I got really sick. Every semester, I would be fine, and then this semester would end. I would collapse, and then my body would just fall apart.
Right. Yeah. And then there was one time when you ended up literally in the hospital.
Yep, I was in the hospital. I had an illness. It had complications. I couldn't keep any fluids down. And I called Mom.
And she was like, you'll be fine.
Yeah, she gaslighted me so hard.
That's how our family is, though, bro. We could be dying, and our family is like... Bro, you're fine, but also we just don't have health insurance, so you're gonna have to be fine. So
no, like
just sit on the pot.
Just sit, yeah, she would always say like, go sit on the pot. Go sit on the pot.
It'll work itself out. Drink some water, relax, and then she goes to the hospital, and they're like, your white blood cell count is so low, you were about to die.
Well, they thought my liver had shut down. Like, they were like, your liver, I think it was like your liver counts were supposed to be between 20 and 60, and mine were like in the 300s or something.
Shit is rocking.
Yeah, my liver enzymes or something. It was bad. I was literally like not taking in any fluids because I couldn't keep anything down. So I was like so dehydrated that they couldn't like get my vein. They ended up having to pump me with like 2 saline packs or 3 saline packs, and like the going from super dehydrated to super hydrated, it like bust all the blood vessels in my eyelids and stuff. It was crazy. So moral of the story, I got really sick, and then I gained a bunch of weight, and I just felt terrible. And the first thing I ever did, so I knew that I wanted to move my body, or I knew that I needed to move my body. I didn't really want to, but I didn't know where to begin, and I didn't want to ask you for help because I just like, I didn't, you.
And also at the time, I will give her this, like it was, I was also my own little arrogant prick in my own way. Like, so it wouldn't have just been, there might have been some pride on your end, but there definitely, rightfully so, was a resistance to come to me because I was like also the know-it-all, like,
yeah,
look who's here for my help.
Well, I just remember like asking you how to do certain
and
movements.
I'm like, why didn't you know this? So you're a fucking idiot.
No, it wasn't that. I think you would just like, you'd be like, you're doing it wrong and you're not listening to me, and like a lot of, and so I was like, I'm just not going to ask her for help. Yes. Which you've gotten so much better at that over the years. Yeah. Like through training your clients,
Jesus Christ,
through training your clients and through starting your own company and everything, you've gotten really, really good about understanding what people need to hear in order to, get the results that you want out of them. But this was before that.
These were not those times.
No, I mean, it was a little bit of both, you know. And so I remember one girl from my program invited me to a hot yoga class, and it kicked my butt. I mean, if any of you guys have ever done hot yoga, it's freaking hard.
It's hot.
Yeah,
steamy.
So I did that, and I loved it, and I fell in love with it, and that kind of started my love of yoga. And I did yoga for
a while.
A while. I moved back here for the summer.
You went to Journeys like every day.
Shout out to Journeys in Yoga.
I love Journeys in Yoga.
Yeah, shout out to Journeys in Yoga. They began my yoga practice, I guess you could say. Their yin
classes were really helpful for me whenever I was in my workout obsession and I needed to have that mindset of do more. But I would just go do more by doing a yin yoga class.
Slower.
And it would just calm me down.
Yeah.
So, and oh my God.
It's movement, but it's like
restorative.
Beneficial.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Well, I'm of the mindset that yin is the hardest form of yoga. To this day, I still believe that yin is the hardest form of yoga.
Okay, I have a reason as to why, but why is it hard for you?
First of all, it's so counter to our culture. I think that people lean towards flow classes or hot power classes because you are moving and your brain stops, your brain shuts off in that movement. You know, you're just getting cues from the teacher and you're just doing the cues. In yin, you get a cue and you're sitting in that movement or that position for 3 minutes,
5 minutes,
5 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes if you're doing like a really slow restorative class. And those postures start to hurt. Like they start to like stretch you and pull you. And I think that it's such an internal practice that, I mean, I've had sessions where I've started crying.
Me too.
I've had sessions where I've like contemplated my own mortality. Yeah, like weird stuff will pop up. Weird stuff.
It's strange when you have nothing else to focus on but the uncomfortability of the present moment. What it does to your brain and where your body tends to go. And it was an interesting thing for me. I don't know if you experienced this, but it was like I would feel pain of a position, and for me I'd also just feel pain of stillness.
Yes.
And of I'm in this position and I'm in this suffering, and I'm also not, the stillness in and of itself to me was also suffering. And so everything in my body wanted to leave it, and I couldn't. I had to be right there. And so it was this element of, wow, maybe I'm not as mentally tough as I thought I was because I'm in this thing, and the only reason I'm really still here is because the pride of the fact that I'm around all of these other people
that are doing it
as well, doing this practice. And it's like, I have to be able to, it was great to sit, be present in the discomfort, and then to just continue to like tune back in with what was going on in the room and what was going on with me. And that was really, that's to me is the best and the toughest part. And also to know when to back up off a little. Because I think there's also an ego in like, I'm going to hold this yin. I'm going to hold this yin pose, and I'm going to be like in the straddle, and I'm going to be all the way down, and I don't need fucking blocks to help me and what, and you know, and then you get to minute 3 and you're like,
oh, the ego gets
my
checked.
cooter is about to rip apart. Yeah.
Yoga's so good for the ego. It's so good for the ego. Well, and I think that like, yoga instructors will always talk about this like woo-woo shit about like, oh, your body stores emotions. But
it
like,
totally does.
Oh,
there are certain positions, I don't know what
you
it
open
is.
your hips up.
Okay, so for me, it's like the piriformis, my glutes. Like whenever I do I will get angry.
Yep.
And
anger,
like,
fear, shame.
My ass is full of rage.
Because it's tired of you beating the shit out of it. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that a lot of that stuff is really normal. I remember when I was going through COVID, like I would still go to yoga classes. Like this is when things were open, but you know, I would go to yoga classes, and those were the like, I could feel myself working through the like grief of the just global experience and the emotions.
That's
and stuff.
when I got into yoga, was COVID.
Dang. Well, so I started my yoga practice in 2018.
Because I was going to say, you did yoga, and then you did have a stint where you got really into lifting.
Yeah, well, okay, so I guess we'll back it up. I did a lot of classes at Journeys in Yoga. Yep. My family, shout out to my family, they got me a 20-pack of classes for them. So I was doing that 3-4 times a week. And I got really into it. I fell in love with it. And then I went back to Tampa. And
architecture just picked right back up.
Well, it did. But I kind of made a decision around that time that I told myself I would never try as hard as I did if it was sacrificing my lifestyle. So like fitness, eating, sleeping. I gave up on, that extra, let's say 10 to 20% of effort that I give to school.
In school, right.
I just said, nope, not worth it anymore.
We're going to distribute this out to the things that make me good. Feel good.
I'm just not going to make it. I had another 3 years of school left, and it's like, I can't keep doing this. It's not sustainable. So I came back, and I don't really remember what it was that started me. So I was doing yoga for a long time, and I still do yoga. Yoga is a practice that will stay with me for the rest of my life, I think. But I started branching out when I realized that I could do movements too, and that I didn't have to be bad at them, or that it wasn't a competition or performative or anything. That's when I started experimenting with, like, okay, well, let me try other forms of movement. Like, what other things might I like that I kind of I shut down because I felt like I wasn't good enough to do them. So I tried. I
feel like you got into hiking.
Yeah, well, hiking. I mean, just a lot of I tried a lot of different things. I did sauna, which I still do to this day.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I do contrast therapy every single week.
Yep.
It's like going to church for me.
Yep.
And then I started going to, I think what happened was when I moved down to Ybor, which is South Tampa, there was a gym nearby, and Evan and I, my partner, decided to go to this gym and try it out. And
were you listening to Mind Pump at the time before?
I think it was one of the, I don't remember if it was before. I think it was at the same time. It was like all of these things started happening. I think it was like COVID.
Like maybe Evan had said something, and then
Evan and COVID and then
podcasting.
You were suggesting Mind Pump. Like a lot of people were suggesting Mind Pump to me. So I started listening to Mind Pump. And
shout out Mind Pump. Mind Pump is the reason. Shout out Mind Pump. Mind Pump is the reason that I finally decided to become a personal trainer. And to be honest, those guys were, when I was really rough and mom and dad were getting a divorce and I wasn't really talking to dad anymore, they were like my dads. And I remember I would go on a walk, and I would walk for 2 hours just outside in the sun because it was COVID, and it was I had nothing to do, and I was so sad, and I didn't want to be in the house.
Dads.
And I would just listen to my 3 dads. And and they'll never know this, but I was like, you guys were my temporary padres.
Yep. No, same. So I started listening to Mind Pump, which for anybody who's starting their fitness journey,
great intro.
So good.
Yes.
They make it feel so accessible, and they have
easy.
such a great attitude towards it. Just the way that they really help shift your perspective, because I had a great role model, but also a horrible role model for fitness, because you would work out every day for 4 hours, and I said, no, I'm not going to do that.
If that's fitness, I don't want it.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
and they are very much they're going to present it in a way that's not only easy to understand, but also fitness is truly for everyone, and it's also doesn't have to be this insane thing. It's just these are the basics. Here's how to convey the base, and it's educational. It's not just just go move around. It's education based, but it's basics, and it's you can work out 3 days a week, 2-3 days a week, and do these movements and see real fucking progress.
Yep.
Which is very attractive to the person who's not a fitness crazy fanatic. And for her, you were just started getting into the idea of potentially lifting weights. So
I think I did one of their programs and I felt really good. And I started playing around with it. And then I really wanted to learn how to lift properly. So what I did was I hired a trainer.
A fucking trainer.
I hired a trainer.
And and it wasn't me.
And it wasn't, that would have been bad. I think it needed to be somebody else to learn the foundational movements.
Probably did. Now, who the trainer was?
He did a great job of what he needed to do.
All right, brother.
He needed to listen, I needed to learn the foundational movements, and that's what he taught me was and also that the gym can be fun. You can be strong. You deserve to be here. That's a big one for people who are not fitness oriented. They don't feel like they're good at it. They know that they look silly while they're trying to learn this stuff. Like that feeling of you deserve to be here. You deserve to be in this space with all these like roided out dudes and gym bros, and everybody's like super aggressive and seems like they just have to get to the next thing and whatever. Like you deserve to take up a machine. You deserve to take up space in the gym.
And you can fidget around with it and not know what's up. And you can also ask people. Like that was one thing that I do remember vaguely going from Go Performance to the gym. And I remember feeling like this newfound shame and embarrassment because I didn't know how to use any of the equipment, any of the machines, because it was all the functional training. It was all like dumbbells, med balls, whatever. So I go into the big gym, and I just remember walking around and I felt so stupid because I was just like, I don't know how to set this up. And you're trying to like rig it, and then you want to like, you're like, fuck this, and I'm not even gonna go on this machine because I just don't even want to.
Yeah, you don't want to look dumb. You don't want to ask for help. Everybody kind of looks scary in a gym, even though people in gyms are some of the nicest people ever.
Some of the nicest people, and actually usually the ones that are super jacked or whatever,
they're typically the nicest.
They're the nicest usually.
The meaner the face, the nicer the person typically. But it's hard when you don't know that. It feels very inaccessible. And so I needed that gateway and that confidence. So I started lifting, and I did. I fell in love with it. I still do, that's going to be another thing that it's like a life thing for me. But I started, just experimenting with different forms of movement. My friends and I started rock climbing, and we do that 2-3 times a week now,
which I introduced you to.
Yes. Well, I really wanted to do it, and you went with me. I wouldn't have done it alone.
You were like, I need a new activity. And I was like, I feel like you would like rock climbing. And you're like, and I was like, I feel like you would. And you're like, I feel like I would. And so then you wanted to try it, but you didn't want to go by yourself. So then I went with you.
Yes.
And you loved it.
Yes. I got a membership that day.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I've been exploring different mediums. Like one thing I want to do this year, I've never ran in my life. I don't like running. I've always hated running. Maybe. Well, yeah, we're going to do it. I don't know if I'm going to do it.
I'll run it with you.
I'll run it with you. To see me.
I'll run it with you. Why?
Because it's still rough. But that's one thing that in my adult years I've really experimented with is just different forms of movement. What do I enjoy? What does my body want from me right now? That changes, throughout the years. Some years my job is really stressful and I can't. I had to take a little break from lifting because the gym environment was so packed that
more stress.
It was too much stress on my body. So we pivoted to the rock climbing gym, and they have like a little gym in the back. So
there's also something to like just too much stimulus when you're already stressed and overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. When you have, even if your body can lift the weights or whatever. There's just sometimes too much when you're in a gym. It's loud music and there's people everywhere and whatever. It's like the stimulus in and of itself is just too much.
Yeah. I mean, it just like, again, something that Mind Pump kind of talks about all the time is that like your movement practice is it's for the rest of your life. Pick something sustainable, find a way. It's not a choice. It's just part of your life, and it will change as your life changes, as your life needs change. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of how I've been embracing it. It's not so much a like body aesthetic goal or anything like that. It's more just like, what does my body need right now? What type of movements do I need mentally, physically, whatever?
And that's the one difference between us that we were talking about on our walk earlier, which is you never really had the whole trying to look a certain way or any kind of body dysmorphia or anything like that. That was something that I still have, definitely had, and influenced, I think, a lot of my training growing up. I wanted to move and be athletic, but there was always also this element of like, I want to look a certain way, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You didn't really ever have that.
No, I didn't. I mean, I think that, our we're related, but our minds are vastly different,
Yeah, we're very different.
We're
people.
very different.
Yes.
But we're also similar in ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's almost like we're related.
Almost.
Girl, she's getting a genetic test done. We'll see.
Girl, oh my God.
It fucking says, bruh.
Call mom in here. We're going to have another podcast.
No, intervention.
Anyway, yeah, another podcast will be coming.
Yes.
With the results.
Yes.
We're not actually related. No, but I mean, I think that I always had a pretty secure understanding of who I was, what my limitations were, what my strengths were, which was really cool in high school. That's rare. That's so rare.
That's so nice.
I knew it was rare. Like when I was in high school, I knew that most kids were really struggling to find out who they were, how, like what their worth was.
And Leah's like, I'm just an e-girl.
Well, I mean, no, I was weird, and I was like weirdly confident. I would wear it's so cringe. I would wear like cloaks to school and shit, and like
I remember this.
I would wear like crowns, and I would like do my hair, and I was like, why don't boys want me?
Yes, yes.
But I was like kind of crazy because I was like, it's not me.
But the boys did want her. She's full of shit because she had some other cloak men that were waltzing around the school that were trying to find their cloak woman.
Yeah, for my cloak girls out there, find you a cloak man.
Yes,
there's a cloak man for every cloak girl.
There is. And he will protect you.
He'll find you
from all of the dragons in whatever fantasy world you guys are living in.
There's someone for everyone. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Because also, let me tell you, I was like, I don't think I was Miss Popular, but I was definitely more of the like.
Oh, you were really preppy back then.
The preppy girl.
Yeah.
And no boys wanted me either, bro. I don't think it was the cloak.
We were like unripe fruit back then. We still had to develop a little bit, I think.
Our melons literally needed
Yeah.
We were late bloomers.
Yeah. We needed to marinate
we
for a
needed
little bit.
to.
She wasn't ready.
I'm hoping I'm still marinating a little.
Oh, I think we're going to keep marinating.
Good.
I'm just predicting that our 30s are going to be like
sexy.
Chef's kiss.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I think that, in high school
you had just a sense of self-confidence.
Yeah, and I think
and you were just like, this is my body and this is what it is and whatever.
Yeah, which I mean, it's unfortunate that your inner turmoil is what led you to fitness, but I think
my inner turmoil has led me to most shit that I've done in my life.
Yeah, well, same.
I mean, because like when you think about it, it's like fitness. That's my life.
No, I mean
but also okay. So my interest in like self growth and development, psychology, philosophy, all of that stuff has been from me being like, I am miserable. And I want to get out of
sucks.
And I want to get out of this state. So I need to understand what's going on.
I don't know. I mean, like
that and also our religious trauma probably.
Well, welcome to the South.
That's for another podcast episode.
Yeah, that one's going to have to
religious trauma will be a 12-part series.
And body image, religious trauma and body image.
Oh,
but no,
God,
I mean,
yes.
Listen, dude, you were always really driven, despite being like confused.
Yeah, driven by whatever it is. I have at least been driven.
Yes, driven. You were always driven. I mean, we thought you were going to be a lawyer. We didn't really know what the fuck you were going to be, but we thought you were going to be some type of something. So I don't think anybody in the family was really worried about you and your direction in life, even if you were freaking out and like crying and screaming the whole time.
I'm still freaking out.
That's the secret. It never stops.
Oh my God.
It never stops.
Okay, but wait. Back to your body, because you're like,
what?
Did you mute your microphone?
No, I think I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Am I good?
Oh yeah, you're fine.
Okay, cool.
So back to your body image stuff. So you were just always kind of good. We didn't really talk about this. So we grew up in a household where image mattered for sure. And I don't think it was like necessarily we got like bullied or anything. It wasn't like it was this understated, unspoken thing of like, you kind of got to keep yourself together a little bit.
Yeah. But I think that like again, that goes back to like my own self-identity. Like I always knew that I was okay and that my body was okay. I never felt that pressure of like changing my body.
That is so wild.
Yeah. It's pretty nice.
Oh my God.
It's pretty nice.
It must be nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I wished I could like give you my brain because I always watched you suffer through that and I didn't know how to explain to you. I don't think
What
I ever
did
can.
you see? What did you observe? Because this actually goes into my next topic as well, which is kind of how the family, it can influence, like how health in the family can influence the rest of the family members. So like how me being super fitnessy influence maybe the family dynamic, influence maybe your opinion about fitness, whether for better or for worse, and also watching me. But you can enter in from like how watching me from the outside.
I thought what you were doing was unhealthy.
It was. It was.
Because you did track for a while.
You guys, like, to put this in perspective, I would work out 2 times a day, every single day, 7 days a week. And then I would do 30 minutes of core at home. So I was working out really 3 times a day.
Yep.
Every single day.
Not eating. Like a salad.
No. Yeah.
Really skinny.
Really but
skinny.
Rail thin. I had an exercise-induced anorexia. Like, I didn't even know it at the time. I was just like, gotta grind.
Yeah.
Gotta move.
And, well, I just remember, like, seeing you so unhappy and seeing, the way that you beat the shit out of yourself every day. And it just further solidified my opinion of fitness at the time of like, everybody says that this is good for you, but why would I want to be her? She's miserable and
and that's so interesting because I think that so many people talk about how be the example and, hey, I want my family to be healthy and whatever. And I want to be able to influence my family members to be healthy. And we'll just be the example. When in reality, like I completely did the opposite of what I was the example as to this is proof that this sucks and I never want to do this. Like I was a horrible example.
Back then, just because you were not doing it for good reasons. You were doing it to like punish yourself.
Yeah. I essentially did that until probably last year.
Yeah. And so I think that for the rest of the family who were less inclined to punish themselves daily, we were like, why would we want to do that?
Right.
You look unhappy. You spend 3 hours doing this every day. I would rather do other things.
Yes.
Like go read a book outside.
Right.
And look at a bird or something. Like
literally anything else. Literally anything else. I think I'd
Take
rather
out the trash.
Yes. I'd rather clean a fucking dirty toilet.
Do some laundry.
Than
than whatever the fuck you were doing.
Right.
So I mean it
let me go do calculus. It's more fun than whatever she's doing right now.
Yeah. Well, you looked like you were suffering.
What does that look like to you when it says look like you were suffering? Because I can objectively want my reality is not the same.
Obviously.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and your reality of me is different.
Right.
But we were always friends. So we've probably been the closest our whole lives.
Yeah.
And I just remember like we always got along, even when you were doing this kind of stuff. Like we would still hang out and
we had like sister fights and we would have
our moments.
Yeah.
We would have our moments, but we would always like
we were homies.
Yeah, we were homies. We'd hang out, Like I don't think that your relationship to fitness affected that at all.
Yeah.
Just like my, proclivities to being a fucking nerd didn't stop you from hanging out with me.
Right.
So I think that it just like you got more sad as you aged. And, I had to go away to college when it started to get bad. So I couldn't really do anything about it, which I felt guilty about for a while. Because like stuff got really weird at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was nothing I could do. And I felt a lot of guilt about leaving. And but I had to. I was going to school.
Yeah.
It was weird because I couldn't feel guilty about, pursuing an education. But at the same time, I was like, I left them in this crap. And, she's going through some shit and I can't really help her with it. And I didn't understand what was going on. Like, because back then you kept insisting that like this was good. And, and I couldn't, at that time I wasn't mature enough to figure out what to say to you.
And in fairness too, I was very good at lying about that because I was lying to myself.
Yeah.
So I was very good at lying to people about, any level of like disordered eating, any level of just like exercise, like over exercising. I was very good about lying about it and projecting. And also because in this society, it's not common to be like, hey, you're doing too much healthy stuff. You should slow down.
Whoa,
yeah.
whoa.
Most people, they're like, oh, she's exercising. It's great.
She's so healthy.
And I would project it out as,
I'm just so fucking healthy right now.
That I'm, yes.
Yeah.
But you felt clearly something was off.
Yeah, something was definitely off. And, I knew at a minimum because you did keep insisting that like, I'm great. This is good. This is fine. I was like, well, whatever that kind of fine is, I don't want that shit.
Right.
That's not the kind of fine I want. So, I left and I went to school and there was, nothing I could really do about it. But I did feel, to a degree like I was just kind of leaving you behind in all this crap. And that I wrestled with that for a while. I had to kind of like, I remember I finally went to therapy when I was in college, and that was like one of the things that I brought up.
Was it me in particular?
The whole family, but
okay.
A little bit you. I mean, there was a lot more going on than just your fitness stuff at that time. There's a lot of shit.
Yeah, there was all the stuff with dad and
family stuff was happening. But I do remember. I just remember as we grew up together, when I left, you had like a heaviness to you that you didn't have, which, part of that is just aging and, hormones and being a teenager. But I think part of it was like something weird is happening and I can't really do anything about it. I don't know how to approach it. I'm, 17 or whatever. And I don't know.
And also I was always like a little bit of an angsty kid. So sometimes it's like I can't really put a finger on what's changed about Abigail, but it seems like she's past angsty and into like something else.
But to be fair, I mean, I think that fitness in so many ways saved your life.
Oh, yeah.
You needed the people that you met in, the people that you met in the gym, the people that you met
that I
through
train
the
now,
gym,
my clients.
Yeah, your mentors. Like, there was a lot of stuff that I don't think I could have said to you.
And there's something to the whole exhaust the body, calm the mind. I think legitimately I didn't understand. I didn't understand my brain, and I didn't understand that my brain is a little bit more prone to go out of control and really sink down. Like it's more inclined to do that. I did not really realize that.
Yeah. And
so I thought, well, I would get anxious. My body wanted to move, and I wanted to like run from my own brain. And I wanted, if I would get to the point where I would physically exhaust myself so much that I could not think. Like to the point where I couldn't think, even if I wanted to. So it was just like, I could not be anxious because I was so fucking tired.
Yeah.
And it felt, in my mind, good because I was like, oh, peace.
Yeah.
I'm like exhausted.
Yeah.
And then I got like reds, and so that was a problem.
But I think that you wouldn't be the person that you are today if you hadn't met those people, if you hadn't, had them hold you accountable in ways that I don't think I could have.
Yeah. And I also think that it makes me a better coach now because I know when too much is too much, and I know the signs of like, this person's doing too much, we need to back off here. Like,
well, and also just like the body and the mind are connected. The body, mind, body. 100%. And so like knowing that, hey, you're inextricably connected. This is affecting this, that is affecting that. But ultimately it gave me a lot of peace because I realized that even though I wasn't there to make sure that you were okay, I watched you become someone who is you became someone that was very like, you developed that sense of like turmoil that you had in your teenage years sort of blossomed into this kind of just maturity, this steadfastness that you've developed through your years of training people, through your connections in the gym, the people that you met in the gym, watching your really young clients, your older clients, sort of gleaning the wisdom from them. And I feel like even though listen, we're going to be crazy forever, but
yeah,
I think that it gave you just like a sense of peace and knowing and stability. And so it was very reassuring for me in the like probably the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, she's going to be okay. And she ended up being cool. And like,
thanks. We didn't know.
The jury was out
for a little bit if she was going to be cool or not.
Well, anybody who has siblings, you guys know that like you go through phases with your siblings where like you think they're cool and then you think they're stupid and then you think they're cool and then you think they're stupid.
That's true.
So,
and I'm definitely, I got an energy to me that not everybody can handle.
And same. That's everybody in our family.
And I got an intensity to me,
but that's like that you used to have a lot of like anger and fierceness and like almost like just violence, and that has really settled into this like it's you've just kind of like settled. It was this frenetic like and it's
hopefully it's something that is a strength now.
No, and now you just kind of have this like deep like assuredness in yourself, and sort of because of that assuredness you're able to pour out into other people now. And like I watched that through your clients and through all the relationships you built.
Wow, that's a very, very nice compliment. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I just kind of came back and you like built this whole new it was like this new relationship with the world. And I thought it was awesome that you were able to kind of pull yourself out of it. And
which is very interesting too, because also that was that a lot of that was getting more into meditation, yoga. Obviously I was always, self-development. I want to be the best and figure out how to do, but like there was an element of even pushing and punishing in myself of like, you have to learn more because you fucking suck, instead of, and yeah, dude, it's rough.
Terrible.
It's rough out here. It's rough out here, but I think watching you flow through life, and that's the thing that I always noticed about you, is like just the way that you would flow through life. And watching you flow through life and watching you do yoga and watching you in your meditative practice and that kind of thing, I was like, all right, like I've got to fucking do something different here. And so I'd done some yoga, I'd done some meditation, but again, it was from this place of punishment. And when I approached it again, I was just like, let me adopt these principles that Leah is doing, and let's go from a place of exploration and newness and like grace and peace. And when I could do that, it was fucking horrible, to be honest, because it really just like opens you up, dude, to every.
I don't want to feel this shit.
It just opens, like it fully opens you.
Oh yeah,
it
I've
feels
never been more open.
Huh?
No, don't worry about it.
Okay. It feels like she's like, just wait, bitch. It feels like a ripping, and I described it as this. I was telling Mom the other day. It feels. I was journaling about it. I'm like this thread on a spool. Is it a spool? Is that correct?
Sure.
The thing that it's wrapped on?
Thread on a thread.
Spool?
Bitch.
On a thread holder. On a thread, biatch. And it was, I either feel like I'm completely spinning out, like someone's dropped it and I'm wildly spinning out, or, oh my God, I can't like do that and I'll clamp down.
Wait, this is when you're doing yoga?
When I'm doing any kind of like try to sit in peace and let myself open up. So
Jesus.
meditation, yoga, any stillness, anything.
Fuck.
It feels like this falling, complete unwinding, and then me naturally wanting to be like, whoa, and clamp. And like, it's too much. It's too much. And that has been my practice recently, is just being like, let it unwind. Like whether it's chaotic or if it slows down or whatever, like you just have to stop clamping.
Let it happen.
And that has been fucking brutal.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that like, I tell you this all the time. I tell other people this all the time. I think that, I'm grateful every day that I was born into this family. I think that every single person in our family, but especially you, were put into my life because I would have never been your friend. I would have never spoken to you. You were way too cool for me. We would have never known each other.
Never.
And I think that we had to know each other. I think that like I had to learn lessons that only you could teach me, of like how to just the way that you interact with the world, the way that you interact with people, the relationships that you have with the people in your life. I think that if I had just been around people who were like me, I would have never learned those lessons. I would have never seen that. And, I think that we needed to be completely different people.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I think that
we're able to be, I think we're more open in life because of one another.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think that I am more whole because of you.
Agreed.
With you. And I think that also I could say the exact same thing, which is there were so many things that I needed to be taught that only you could show me. And also not even that I needed to be taught, but also just exposed to.
Yeah.
Like to have a sister like you exposed me to a completely different personality, like a completely different soul. And simultaneously, our souls are connected, and I feel so connected to you, and you are a piece of me.
Yeah.
And so I think it has expanded my capacity to understand and to love, because we're very different.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm not, the way that I see things and the way that I approach things is just wildly different than how you do. And it's not better. It's just different.
Yeah.
And so being able to take your perspective, or being able to even come to you about something and us have discussion about something and approach it from just two
Different
completely
angles.
different places and angles has very much opened my perspective on so many different fucking issues.
Yeah. And I want to stop you right there. I do want to, for the record, I want to say that just because you were a bad influence on my gym perspective as a kid.
I was going to say, did I contribute anything positive to your fitness?
No, you do now. I think that
thank fucking God.
Well, you pushed me. You taught me that. So I needed to learn the lesson that fitness is not just pain and suffering and torture and hating yourself. Well, that was kind of the vibe you were giving out. Okay?
No, it is. But I'm like, what did I do that was good?
But so I had to unlearn that relationship, because
me too, bro.
I'm still working on it, dog. So I had to unlearn that, but I think that once I redefined my relationship with fitness, where I kind of realized that fitness is life and that it, gives me the ability to live life fully. That was when I needed to learn discipline, and that pain is not always bad, and that, working hard is something that you can be proud of. I think that a huge thing, everybody, you always say like, part of your identity was that everybody thought that you were the one that worked hard, and you did. You were the person that worked hard. I was the one that things always just came naturally. Like I just
so annoying, dude. It was so annoying.
No, I mean, I
she's out here getting straight A's now. Like not even. She's like, let me read the rest of this whole book tonight. I've got an exam tomorrow, and I'm like, bro, I've been studying for this exam for 3 weeks, and I got an A-, and she gets like an A+. Fucking stupid, dude.
Well, I got my ass handed to me because of that. I think that you were better prepared for just life with the skills that you forced yourself to develop.
Grit, baby.
Well,
Grit.
and then I had to learn those skills.
Yeah.
I got fucking slapped on my ass when
Sorry,
life
though,
started.
I interrupted your point.
No, that was the moral story. It was basically like you had to teach me how to work hard, how to be disciplined, how to like your muscles hurt, fucking keep going. Like that beyond that pain is the growth that you want in your life, So I think that both of those lessons are important. Mm-hmm. I just personally had to learn the other one first before I could go to the like pain and suffering and and that's not who you are now, but discipline, working hard, not giving up when, your body may feel tired. Your body's giving you signals that you give up. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to give up, that you need to give up. Yeah. All of those things. Those you taught me through fitness that came after.
Oh, good.
And those are helpful.
Thank God.
We got some wins.
Thank God.
We got some W's.
Thank God. I know. It's a fuck, dude. I'm like, guys, don't actually set an example for your family about fitness because you will turn them away.
No,
I was intense.
You were dealing with your own shit. You couldn't be an example to anybody at that point because you were figuring your own shit out.
And in many ways, still up until recently, I continued to set a poor example. Less for others. It was more with myself. Like I could objectively be a good example to others and coach well, but with myself, I had absolutely no boundaries in terms of.
Yeah, it's like do as I say, not as I do.
Yes, and so I until recently had to continue to learn and get to the point really ultimately where I was physically not well. Like mentally also not well, but physically
nothing was well.
I was spiritually unwell, sexually unwell, unwell. And so I mean,
metaphysically,
I pretty much had to get to the point where I had like raging eating disorder, terrible fucking blood work. I mean, like
rock bottom, baby.
Completely, utterly depressed. Which will also happen if your blood work is bad, just by the way. That's
mind body connection.
Yeah, if your T3 is low, turns out that you also feel depressed.
It's all connected.
What else? Oh, physically, I was completely fucked up. I was hurt. I was getting sick all the time.
Think about it. Physically, spiritually, metaphysically.
Yeah, spiritually as well. I was like, God,
her
where you at?
aura was fucked.
My aura was probably
the
shit brown.
The vibes were weird.
My aura was probably shit brown. Like any whatever spiritual guru, if they ever saw me in a store, they were like, ugh,
damn, baby girl.
Pray for you.
She needs help.
Yeah. So but because of that, I'm grateful for the experience.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom. That's what happened to me.
Yes.
That's what happened to me. It sucks.
And that was like, that prompted you to be like, movement needs to happen. And for me, it was like stillness.
Movement needs to not happen.
Movement needs.
We came to the middle. Yes. We met in the middle. That's what happened, and that's why I have never celebrated.
Baby. I have never celebrated getting a period so hard in my life until 2 years you don't have one, and then you get one.
Yeah,
and you're like, yes, bro. Yeah, it was rough, but that is it's interesting. The two same family, two completely different dynamics and approaches to fitness, health. That kind of thing.
Yin and yang, baby.
What's the next? The next is training for a 5K?
Yeah. So, I mean, I unfortunately, like, I don't work in a super active field.
She's an architect.
Yeah, which is just like sitting at a desk all day.
Yeah. And also, I will give her this too. It is very hard where she lives to just go like for a quick run.
Oh yeah,
you have to be a little bit more strategic.
I live in
Ybor.
in the sketchies.
So it's a little bit. She is not allowed to go out and run. I will not allow it.
There's still some some murders and some kidnappings that
you
occur.
could go drive over to Bayshore. That's a great run.
Oh, even at Bayshore though. Sometimes, I would want to go
normal
Lettuce Lake Park.
Lettuce Lake's
great,
like
a private park. Yeah, those I've gone there.
Bayshore though is great in terms of just straight shoot run.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. They'll hit you anywhere. You go. Even
you don't
the
run
Riverwalk.
with anything.
What?
You don't run with anything on you?
Like weapons?
Yeah.
No. My greatest weapon is my husband.
I'm gonna start. Oh no. Oh no, baby.
No, it'll be okay.
No. Okay, so from now on, it is Christmas today, and for all presents in the future, I will be getting people weapons. So I'll be purchasing you a gun and some knives.
Okay. It'll be fine.
I'll be fine. Stuff. I'm going to also purchase you a conceal course. Don't worry, you're not going to have a gun. She will not have a gun not knowing how to use it. And if you shoot like you do in video games, we're fucked.
My hand-eye coordination does leave something to be desired. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'll figure it out. But yes, I do want to run a 5K.
Oh my God. We should do a Protector 1 course together. I'll do it again. I'll do it again.
Maybe.
Yes!
Maybe.
We should so do it. And we can be in Austin together. And then we can go.
We can also just go to Austin.
And do a Protector 1 course.
Or literally anything else.
I'll see my boy Chris Williamson and we'll get married.
Good luck.
It's all full circle. Why do you keep saying that?
Chris Williamson, if you're out there, she is single. She's available. She's got cobwebs on her vagina.
Okay.
Please clear those cobwebs.
Don't be talking about my cobwebs. I'm saving it for the right one.
Why?
What?
This woman. How long has it been since you've had sex?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. It's been like
she could have a toddler with how many years it's been. The amount of years that she has not had anything down there is it would
bro.
It would not be a baby. It would be a small child.
All right.
Chris Williamson, help a homie out.
Yeah, and also after this podcast, we talk about my neuroticism and my depression.
It'll be fine.
It's a great advertisement for
keeping it real. Keeping it real.
It's all out there.
We're just laying it out. See, that is a strategic purchase. You know what you're buying into. They would know. You know, it's not like some bitch.
We did our own side note before we end this podcast too. We did I've had everybody do the Big 5 personality test.
I'm pretty sure you made Jordan Peterson at least $200.
100%. I made my boy JP some money.
Okay, let's read our scores.
And I need to be sponsored.
Let's read our scores.
I can't even see. Well, I could actually go on here.
I'm going to pull it up.
We're going to do this really quickly. We're at an hour, 12 minutes already.
Wow, look at that.
We talk so much. My sister and I will, we don't talk often and call often because when we do, we will literally talk on the phone for like 3 hours.
Yep. And sorry to the audience if this is rambling. I've never done a podcast before. This is just us talking.
I don't think that we can. I think it's my podcast, so I think I can do whatever the fuck I want.
True.
Is what I think.
All right. So did you explain to your people what this is?
The Big 5 personality test is basically 5 traits, and it kind of formulates your identity as a person. It covers everything, and it is ocean, so openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. And within each acronym, is it an acronym?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel stupid. Within each letter, with whatever the letter is, then you have two things
that makes it up.
Sub characteristics.
Like you are this because of this.
Yes. Yeah. And so we're gonna look at my scores here. Oh, this is my not so good one.
You should do that one.
No. That was my old past self.
Okay, so for the record, you're not supposed to take this test more than once in your life.
They also said, though, that you can't take it if you're in a bad space. And the first time I took it, I was in a bad spot. Sure. And so my neuroticism was a little high. And by a little high, I mean it was a 98.
That's your new one?
Yes, this is my new one. We're good now.
Okay.
So we'll go through each one. I'll have her list her big 5.
Well, I feel like we have to explain like what they are, like what agreeableness is, what extroversion is.
A brief summary. Agreeableness is essentially made up of the 2 components, which is
compassion and politeness.
Yes, compassion and politeness, which means if you're compassionate, you're, typically you're interested in people and the problems of people. You have empathy for people. You are able to extend empathy toward others. Mm-hmm. And politeness is essentially your ability to be obedient, respectful, can be a little bit of a pushover.
So let's further explain this. There's a scale.
No, but this is if you're 100% polite, right?
If you are really close to one end or the other, you are in the extremes.
Yes.
You don't want to be in either extreme. Like
you kind of want to be in the middle.
It sounds like, oh, I'm super agreeable, I'm super compassionate. That's obviously a good thing, but you want to kind of be like,
yeah, because if you're polite and you're 100% polite, that means you always say yes to everything and you're always agreeing with everything and you never really have an opinion for yourself, which is not good. You want to be able to have some pushback, you know, some people, some authority you respect, some assholes you're like, fuck you, I'm not gonna, so.
That being said, we live in the extremes for most of these, so.
All right, so our agreeableness score we'll go through first because we did the subcomponents, which is compassion and...
All right, 3, 2, 1, what's your number?
50.
29.
This fucking unagreeable whore.
I'm unagreeable as fuck. I got a 29, which is technically only moderately low. It's not extreme. It's moderate.
Whatever, it's low.
I'm moderately disagreeable.
Anyways, I'm 50 with a 55 compassion and a 45 politeness.
So I got a 48 compassion. I don't know how the hell are you more compassionate than me. My politeness is a 16. Apparently I don't respect authority at all. I'm so sorry.
Do you?
I feel like I do. If I feel like you deserve respect,
okay,
I'll give you respect.
And there it is.
That's what it says.
Conscientiousness, we're moving on, is the essentially are you dutiful or not?
Are you clean?
Are you working hard? You dislike wasting time. You really just work until the work is done. You're organized. You are that kind of thing. It's made up
fastidious.
It's made up of industriousness and orderliness. Yep. Industriousness is essentially the person who is going to be very successful in like an administrative position.
Yep.
They live to work. They're hardworking. If you're very, very industrious, right? Mm-hmm. You want to do useful things. You don't really care for leisure time. You're just fucking workaholic. And then orderliness is somebody. It's literally
it's what it sounds
order.
like.
Yes, orderliness is what it sounds like. So,
all right, 3, 2, 1.
3,
2, 1, go.
85.
38.
38.
38.
That's right. Wow, 85 for me. So my subcomponents, I have a 56 for industriousness.
I got a 50.
I have a 95 for orderliness.
I have a 30.
Yeah, she drives me crazy. She can have dirty dishes and stuff kind of laying around. It doesn't really bother her. Like she'll be like, I'll get to them later.
Okay, let the jury know I'm a clean person.
Yes, but she can let disorder sit for a while. It will make me physically anxious.
All right, let me just say, disorder is necessary for the creative process. You cannot create anything.
So pretentious right now.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Disorder is harder for the creative process.
Fuck you.
And you need to have it a little messy in order to make new ideas.
Well,
I understand.
The numbers stand for themselves. Okay, so
yes,
extroversion.
And also, again, being a sliding end, 95 is probably a little extreme.
Fucking move on.
Extroversion is what it sounds like. Like to be around people, like to engage with people.
You get energy from people.
And it's made up of enthusiasm and assertiveness. Enthusiasm is excitable, want to get to know people, chatty, bubbly, talkative.
Well, it's technically just like, also you like people, you like being around people.
It makes you excited.
You are a happier than average person. So like enthusiasm also is like, it includes.
Bro, mine's a 10.
You're not supposed to spoil it yet. Yeah, okay. But she's unhappy as fuck.
Anyway, assertiveness
is exactly what it sounds like.
Take charge. Yeah, assertive is just like, let's get this shit done, people. Let's freaking go.
Yep.
Okay, so
put forth their own opinions. That's what I'm going to say.
Yes, they do.
All right. Extroversion, 3, 2, 1, go.
63.
82.
6382. Okay, so your enthusiasm is
59.
a 10.
So I'm surprised yours is so low, bitch. Like, what the fuck?
It's hard living in my body.
God damn, dude.
And
what was it in high school? It was probably like a 0.
My enthusiasm in high school
probably would have been like a 2.
No, probably still about a 10.
Well, that's not much of an improvement.
Maybe even a little higher.
Ooh, like a 12?
Maybe.
Oh, shit.
Or like a 14.
Oh, spicy.
And then my assertiveness is a 95.
90.
We are both
Crow women. Okay, I mean, if you, for anybody, for the 4 people listening to this,
boss you around.
We are a loud family of powerful women that
we
like
have
to
strong opinions.
We like to tell you what those opinions are. We like to talk
and we
about
like
them.
for you to listen.
And if you ain't
and
gonna
sit
listen,
the fuck down,
we're
little
gonna
bitch
make
boy.
you listen. Yeah. Anyway, neuroticism.
Neuroticism is the last one, and neuroticism is made up of 2 components. It's made
not
up
the
of,
last one.
Oh, it's not. Oh,
it's
yeah.
the second to last one.
Yeah, that's right. True. It's withdrawal and volatility. Withdrawal is essentially the anticipatory anxiety, your desire to leave situations, or your lack of desire to approach new situations.
Yes.
Uncertainty. There, you see threat to a lot of things. You're more likely to withdraw in the face of anything unknown or expected. Volatility.
Well, wait, hold on. Let's just preface this. So remember, her enthusiasm was low as shit.
Okay. Can you
people high in withdrawal are more likely than average to feel sad, lonesome, disappointed, and grief stricken.
Okay. Volatility is they tend to vary in mood, irritable, reacting very strongly to disappointment, frustration, pain, threat of social isolation. They can lash out, easily annoyed, more likely to act out, verbally express frustration, disappointment, irritability, can be very stirred up, upset, take a longer time to calm down once they're upset. They can be argumentative, lose composure. They can be very provocative in a dispute, so they can fight a little dirty. And they tend to be get really upset if something bad does happen.
Yeah, they just shift moods. Like they'll be willing to fight you. Like, I'll cut a hoe, I'll fight a bitch.
And
like
neuroticism, kind of overall, the component, by the way, it's not necessarily OCD and ADHD can lie in neuroticism because there are depressive elements to those things, but it's not necessarily like neurotic isn't like an OCD thing. It's essentially your proclivity to anxiety, depression, getting down, and then obviously those components of withdrawal and volatility and everything.
Like, you a sad bitch, but you're also gonna be grumpy. You a grumpy sad bitch.
So, do you want to say our scores?
All right,
3, 2, 1. 87.
64.
So when I first took this, it was a 98.
I like how you're outing yourself.
So that's why I retook it years later.
You're like, this can't be right
because this couldn't be correct. Anyways, mine is 87.
Yeah, that's what is that? That's high. So I got moderately high. Okay. I'm like upper middle, which is surprising. I thought there was a chance that I was going to be higher. Like, I really think that when you had me take that test, you were like, come on, bitch.
I did.
Come on, bitch.
That's exactly actually what I said when you said you were going to take it. I said to Mom, she has got to be higher than me.
Nope.
So,
anyways,
withdrawal.
What are you?
89.
67.
Oh my God. 89 for withdrawal.
Wait, okay, but let's again,
we know
grief stricken.
Okay,
she's waiting for her husband to come home from the war.
I do catastrophize things a lot.
When will my husband?
Like, I really do. I remember I used to, when Mom and Dad would come home late from date nights, they were like 10 minutes late.
They're dead.
No, legit. I was like, Mom is dead. I would call her 20 times. Even now, I'll still get anxiety about stuff. Like, stuff
is that why you think when I'm going to go on a run, I'm going to die?
I'll be like worst case scenario all the time. When you and Sylvia went out for lunch the other day, I didn't say I loved you before you guys left. And I was like, I will never forgive myself if they don't come back. Like, I was just waiting for you guys to return.
Okay, well, I do get those thoughts, but that's called the call of the void. And that happens to me. Like, sometimes, like, that'll happen mostly to myself, but it'll sometimes happen to other people where, like, my mind will be like, what if I just hit this tree and die right now?
But it's all the time. Like, if they don't, like, I'll text Sylvia. If I forget to say I love her before she leaves, I will text her.
Oh, shit.
Or I'll call her. It's
Well, I'll try to be good about that, but I feel like it's not on the same level.
No, it will make me anxious. I'll be like, if she dies and I didn't get to say I love her for the last time, I'll never forgive myself. Yeah.
You're like a chihuahua.
That's the rudest thing you've ever said to me.
Just like a shaking chihuahua.
Okay, volatility. Bro, volatility.
59.
80.
Wait, what does yours say about it? So like mine says that I calm down pretty quickly.
No, I don't, apparently.
They said that average volatility may react when someone provokes them in a dispute.
But it's basically just that I do those things.
I remain calm and unperturbed even when stressed. Let me guess, you're perturbed.
Perturbed is correct.
She is perturbed.
I am. At all times. In a constant state
and
of
also grief-stricken. Yeah, you're grief-stricken. There's no perturbation going on.
Openness. 3, 2, 1. 30. Holy fuck. 30.
83. Okay, so openness, I feel like we need to explain what the hell that is because it's not what you think it is. It's not like I'm so open to just the world.
Yeah.
It's the primary dimension of creativity, artistic interest, and intelligence, particularly verbal intelligence, which is kind of
fuck.
Blah 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 blah. Openness is a measure of interest in novelty, art, literature, and abstract thinking, philosophy, as well as sensitivity to aesthetic, emotions, and beauty.
I do have thoughts on this once we get to the subcategory.
Okay, yeah, I have thoughts on it as well.
I know.
The two aspects of openness are intellect and aesthetic. So yeah, intellect is not, so we didn't describe these at all. We just went straight into the score. But like intellect is not your IQ. It is basically how well do you like big abstract ideas. So IQ is a measure of processing
how well can
speed.
you, and also how well can you like kind of, there's a certain level of being able to articulate said ideas.
Yeah, it's like, do you like big abstract ideas?
And talking about them, discussing them.
Yes, talking about them, thinking about them, whatever. It's not about like how quickly you process information. It's about like whether you enjoy interacting with that information.
That abstraction also, there's usually a certain like a greater vocabulary and a better ability to communicate. Yes. And those abstract ideas, which is where I think people think that it's intelligence.
Yes.
But it's not necessarily.
Yes. And then aesthetics is the other one. So aesthetics that's pretty
attraction to beauty.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Do you like aesthetics? Like just think about it.
So my intellect, 28.
God damn, 60.
I know, bro. And this is the one that was...
Yeah, we talked about this.
Because
I don't agree with Jordan Peterson.
I don't necessarily know. I do... There are, like, if I'm not interested in something, I'm not interested in it and I won't learn. So I can understand why I'd be a little bit lower. But I am interested in very abstract, complex ideas. And I do
too. I'm literally a professor of architecture. So, like, that's all I fucking do.
I'm a professor of broness.
Of muscles.
And performance,
and sadness,
and fucking sadness, and what's the meaning of life? Yeah. So, but I think that it's probably what it is my ability to articulate, communicate, learn. My processing speed is a little bit slower. But it takes me a while to.
That's horseshit. It literally says IQ is a measure of processing speed. Which is not, this is not what that should be about. So I think we've talked about this.
There were a couple questions in there.
If you've taken the test, some of the questions talk about like how quickly do you pick up information. And I think that's
slow for me, man.
That's a false, I feel like that's probably why mine isn't higher because I deal with
I know, I feel like I should at least be at like 45.
Yeah, girl. No, I think that the questions are like fucked up because that's
I think it's fucked up.
No, I don't think it accurately depicts like and I know people that scored really high on it and it's not that they're not intelligent. It's just that I think that the questions are not focusing on what they say that they're going to be focusing on. Mm-hmm. I think that's the one part of the test that I just don't agree with. I don't agree with the way that it's worded. So,
aesthetics is the last one.
Yeah.
And aesthetics.
All right, 3, 2, 1,
38.
90.
That makes utter and complete sense. I have and am and probably will continue to be the person that will sit in the museum and I'll sit in a room. That is when stillness is my friend. I will just sit there and I'll be like, y'all let me know when you guys are done.
Won't. That's a fucking lie. You will pace the entire museum.
Okay.
You'll walk the whole museum and then you'll come back to us.
It's just, to me, there are a few things. Like when I saw the Duomo in Italy, I was just blown away. When I see things in nature, I will be blown away sometimes. But to see, like, to go into a museum or a painting or whatever, like there's certain pieces of art that I'm like, fucking Christ.
Oh,
like
I could
can
talk
tell.
to you all day about why you connect to certain things and you don't connect to other things.
Why?
Well, that's like a tangent.
Wait, about like me in particular?
People. That's my thesis. That's like what I studied in school. It's like, how do I make people feel something when they enter a space or like, or do anything?
Why don't I feel anything in a museum?
Because, so there's phenomenology. There's this concept called phenomenology that you learn in grad school. I studied it for my thesis. Basically,
why did your voice just get like way more?
Because I'm talking about complex shit right now.
She's like, let me tell you about this phenomenology.
No, so basically what it means is the better that the designer, the artist, the architect, in my case, builds something to engage the five senses, the more of your five senses that are engaged in the space, the more that you will connect with the space. So art is just, it's not engaging your senses, and therefore you don't give a shit about it.
That's why nature I love.
Yep. Anything. So there's certain buildings like
in the Duomo.
Because it's multi-sensory. Anything that's just visual is barely giving you any information. If there's sound and smell and the more you engage, and that's why, fun fact,
and it's something that looks like tactile, like you want to touch it because it's got so much dimension to the building.
Yes.
That it's something that you want to physically engage with when you look at it.
Yep. It's called phenomenology. That's what I studied in my thesis. Basically, the more that you
So I'm not wrong for thinking some of these museums are fucking bumfuck boring.
Well, you can have an interest, like I have an interest in just the history of that kind of stuff. If you don't have an interest in the history of that stuff, you're not going to give a shit about it. But a well-designed space connects people on multiple levels with multiple different senses, and then you will, like, it will form an imprint on you, and then therefore your brain is using more shit to think about it and remember it, and it sticks with you. And that's why you could walk into a space, like, you know, one thing I studied was like different religious spaces. You could walk into a fucking Buddhist temple, know nothing about Buddhism, and it could still like move you, and you could connect to it, and it sticks with you. And it has nothing to do with well, it might have something to do with Buddhism, but it's mostly the way that the space affects how you connect to it. Architecture. Anyway.
Architecture. Anyways, thanks for coming on my podcast.
Yeah.
You're welcome. That's like,
well, I mean, next? I don't know if this is going to be good.
It's not about being good. It's about art.
Okay. It's about
phenomenology.
It's about phenomenology and sadness.
And fuck yeah. A lot of sadness.
And muscles.
A lot of muscles and a lot of sadness. Do you know my muscles are so dense because there's so much sadness in them?
Oh yeah. No, if she ever went in for like a multi-day yin retreat.
Oh my god.
So much shit would come out.
And I got fucked.
Woo! Fuck.
I would come out just loose.
Dude, oh my god. Before I really want you to try
the hallucinogenic yoga?
Yes, holotropic breathing.
Yeah.
Yes. So
I would
for all
do
you
it,
kids at home, holotropic breathing is this.
Can you look it up on YouTube? Probably not.
I have no fucking idea. Don't do this at home without a professional.
Wait, really?
No, don't do this at home.
You'll get high as fuck.
You will. There are classes that you can go to.
And you could actually hyperventilate. To get holotropic breathing, you essentially have to hyperventilate, but like in a strategic, smart way. And so if you do it the wrong way, you could actually have a panic attack. Just really pass out.
Go to a class. But yeah, you breathe using these different breathing techniques.
Like you're about to...
You're about to do what? What, bitch? Yeah, that shit you haven't done for 2 years. Anyways.
I have done it in less than 2 years by myself.
Anyways, holotropic breathing is you do this breathing you breathe for 45 minutes.
No way.
And it's like weird and tribal shit. It is a little weird, but like the 45 minutes goes really quickly. And you're laying there and you're breathing and they're like, it's like, or something. Like, you have to go to a class to do it. But then at the end, no, it does get kind of weird because people will start crying. People start like moaning, screaming. Like it'll bring some shit out of you. Like,
what the fuck?
It'll bring some
All
shit.
right, and with that, you guys, thank you for coming on to the Alchemical Life.
Basically, you hold your breath
get
and then
fucking high.
You see God.
Your third eye is opened and DMT begins to leak out of it.
Basically, we should have you do that.
Okay.
We should have you do that. I think that it would be good for you.
We could also just start with shrooms.
Or we could do...
Thank you for coming on the podcast, Leah. I appreciate. We're going to take some videos of us doing some 3s and 7s and some freeze jumps.
Maybe if we remember how to do it.
I definitely remember. I can do like a whole jig.
We should put some Irish music on too.
And you should keep the hat on because I feel like the elf hat is really
You gotta keep yours on too though.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, we'll keep it on. All right, thank you for having me. This was fun.
You're welcome.
I hope this made sense.
It probably didn't.
That's okay. Sorry for wasting y'all's hour and a half.
Gang.
Bye.
Goodbye.
It was nice meeting you all.
Follow her on Instagram.
Don't.
Okay.
I'm never gonna tell you.
Leah.crow9.
You'd be able to find it really easily.
Yeah,
she posts me all the time.
Yeah. What the fuck is wrong with you? All right.
Anyway.
Bye.
Goodbye. Merry Christmas, bitches.
Merry
Goodbye.
Christmas.